Hi there, my name is Tom Bell, and welcome to my 5 minute Friday videocast on Monday the 18th. To cut a long story short, I was away on holiday last week, so I didn't get a chance to do one. Um, so, who am I? I'm a consultant, I'm an author, I'm an educator, I'm a speaker, I'm a trainer, I'm a former NHS whistleblower, and now I'm a full time PhD student. I'm going to talk about forgiveness, and I'm going to talk about forgiveness versus understanding and understanding versus forgiveness. And I'm going to trash the concept of forgiveness really and label it as lazy thinking. And there's some reasons for that. The internet's become a little bit awash, I think, with, well, let's take a step back, shall we? So we're in a time where a lot of bad things are happening. There's no doubt about that. But the internet is now awash, I think, partly as a result of those bad things, with quotes and exhortations about the healing power of forgiveness. It's an interesting concept, isn't it, to preach forgiveness, perhaps to the people of Gaza or the people of Ukraine or any of the other nations, peoples, citizenries, groups that are being trampled needlessly underfoot. And the reason I think that forgiveness is lazy thinking is that some of you may or may not know that my sister was groomed and abused and later took her own life. And she was groomed and abused while she was in the care of an NHS mental health hospital. And we know the name of the person who did the grooming and the abusing, and we know the people that sanctioned it and the people that stepped back, and we know the names of people who were part of the process and said nothing, and we know all that stuff. And people say to me sometimes, Tom, would you forgive that person if you came across them? And my answer is no, that it's not about forgiveness, actually. It's about understanding. Forgiveness feels like this sort of lazy thinking where we just go, oh, yeah, well, what we'll do is we'll put it under the label of forgiveness because we don't understand it, because we can't understand it, because it's beyond our understanding, perhaps even. And so we put it in this box and we say, right, that's that. We've all forgiven each other and everybody moves on. And what that doesn't do is for me certainly, it doesn't lead to understanding. So forgiveness, the concept of forgiveness itself doesn't really lead to increased understanding. And I think we need to move beyond forgiveness to a point where we understand why people do the things they do. The other thing that I think it seems strange to me about this concept of forgiveness is that I don't think I have the power to forgive anybody. And I don't think anybody has if I thought that I had the power to forgive people, it sounds like a very pompous thing, I think. And for them to feel better because I'd forgiven them, that would be a strange thing to happen, wouldn't it? I don't need other people's forgiveness. When I drop the ball, I need their understanding. And there's something, see, that forgiveness has its roots in a power dynamic which came down from the dynastic realms, shall we call them that? The dynastic realms, when the lord and lady of the manor had the power to bestow what was called forgiveness, on people who had done things. And of course, the greatest example from biblical times is this notion of, Pontius Pilate and who he chooses to forgive and pardon. And it's linked to the pardoning of people and the forgiving of people. And the idea that somebody would be in a position of such power that they could forgive somebody their wrongdoing, that of course raises questions about what is deemed as wrongdoing, what is termed as wrongdoing. Because I think, back in the day when the Lord and Lady ruled the manor, it probably wasn't that difficult to do some wrongdoing, actually, because life was, I imagine, was pretty tough. So there's a power dynamic behind it, which I think is long. It's now an anachronism, or at least it is in most countries. Perhaps not North Korea, but I'm sure that nobody's watching from there. So it strikes me as a slightly anachronistic, out of date, lazy thinking concept. Forgiveness, I forgive you, we forgive each other, the healing power of forgiveness, da 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 da. I kind of get it that it says, well, I'm going to walk away from something that I can't possibly understand. But the notion that we just put it in a box called forgiveness rather than the box of too difficult to deal with, too complex to understand, da 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 da, seems like we're trying to find ways of dealing with everything when sometimes some things can't be dealt with, some things can't be understood. We may, I would argue that if we can never understand why somebody did something, then we probably certainly can't forgive them. And if we can forgive them, then I'm not really sure that even fits, does it? Can you forgive somebody for something that you can't understand why they did it? I don't know. So the healing power of forgiveness, I'd like to kick that one into the long grass, if I may. hasn't worked for me. I'm not sure it works for many people. If it's worked for you, let me know. I think the concept's been around for a long, long time. There is a word in almost every language for that. That English word forgive. That obviously comes from somewhere, and I believe there's a word in almost every universal language which equates to forgiveness and what it means. On that note, I'll ask you to forgive me if this has offended you in any way, or if it's not been up to scratch. Or maybe you can just understand. Maybe it was a long day. Maybe I was trying to fit something in, on a Monday after a Friday. Maybe I'm only used to doing things on a Friday. I'm not going to bore you with the details. I can't say have a great weekend, can I? Because it's Monday. Have a great week. Try and stay safe. Try and stay sane. Try and stay solvent. I'm not sure which of those is the most difficult at the moment, but ciao.